Hello friends, this video series is about the practical aspects of Vedic astrology. This is the first episode where I'll be talking about the fundamental concepts of the houses, zodiacs, planets and nakshatras. We will also apply these concepts in a sample kundali. The following presentation is meant only for informational purposes. Please consult a qualified professional for your specific needs. I welcome your comments, suggestions and feedback. I'm a data scientist and not a professional astrologer. Let's begin. This is the first episode of the series. We will take up the following topics in this episode: astrological chart components, houses, zodiacs, planets and nakshatras, resources and assumptions related to the planetary aspect and other calculations, karakas, longevity and marga and badaka planets, friendship and combustion of planets. The astrological charts have three major components: houses, zodiacs and planets. In my presentation, I will denote house number 1 as H.1, zodiac number 1 as Z.1, and the planets will be denoted by two letters where the degree is indicated, retrogression is indicated, and the combustion is also indicated. There are three major chart styles: Western, North Indian, and the South Indian. Western style chart is laid out in a circular manner. The innermost circle shows houses, the next circle shows planets, and the next to the planets show zodiacs. House number 1 is fixed here. In the North Indian style chart, the house number 1 or the ascendant, also called Lagna, is fixed, and then the next houses like H2, H3, etc., they follow in an anti-clockwise direction. In the South Indian chart, the zodiac Z.1 is fixed, and then the next zodiac like Z2, Z3, etc. follow in a clockwise direction. There are 12 houses in total. This slide shows the first 6 houses. I have shown the significator and characteristics of each house, which you can go through in your leisure. I will take house number 1 as an example. House number 1 is signified by sun. It characterizes Lagna, self, soul, appearance, etc. Let's move on to the next 6 houses. Here again, I have shown the significator and characteristics of each house. I will take, for example, house number 10. It is signified by Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. It denotes karma, profession, growth, career, etc. So if someone asks you to analyze their career and profession, you should look at house number 10, their significators, and the planets in house number 10. This is interesting to see how the direction is given to the houses. So as you can see here, house number 11, 12, and 1 signifies east direction, 2, 3, and 4 north, 5, 6, and 7 west, 8, 9, and 10 south. So how can we use that? Let's look at one question. So if someone asks you what is the best direction for making money in a given chart, all you have to do is look at the placement of the Lord of house number 2. If it is placed in house number 3, it indicates monetary support and success in north direction because house number 3 signifies north direction. There are 12 zodiacs or rashis in total. These run in sequence like Z1, Z2, etc. up to Z12. They have features like element, modality, direction, and so on. From this chart, we can say that the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Similarly, the movable signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. The modality is heavily used in Gemini astrology to determine the zodiac aspects. The fire signs are usually east, earth signs are south, air signs are west, and water signs are north. So Aries is associated with east. In Vedic astrology, east is the direction of new beginning, new opportunities, and new ventures. This is in alignment with the energy of Aries, which is known for its pioneering and courageous spirit. Aries individuals are known for their ability to initiate new projects and take bold risks, and the energy of the east supports them in this. Next comes the time, as you see here. So we have some zodiac signs who love to stay up late at night, and you know the reason why. Come to the gunas. Guna shows the natural tendency of those zodiacs. For example, a person having Cancer ascendant will have Satvik Guna. Our Maryada Purushottam Bhagwan Sri Ram and Sita Ma had Cancer as their Lagna. The favorable colors are also shown here. The body part that these represents are also shown here. For example, if someone has Z9 as their house number 6, for example, Cancer ascendant, they are supposed to be suffering from diseases related to hips, thighs, nerves, and arteries. Each zodiac has some characteristics which are mentioned here. For example, a Cancer ascendant loves to live near water bodies, likes to eat a variety of food, looks pretty attractive, and is very emotional. There are a total of 9 planets in Vedic astrology. Out of 9, 7 are physical and 2 are shadow planets named Rahu and Ketu. Planets have characteristics like exaltation, debilitation, multikona, ownership, direction, and so on. For example, the Sun is exalted at 10 degrees in Aries and debilitated at 10 degrees in Libra. It has its multikona between 0 to 20 degrees in Leo and ownership in the rest of the Leo zodiac. It gets directional strength in 10th house, governs soul, and rules bones. The exaltation state of the planet means that they are very happy and will give you good results. The multikona placement is more like discharging an official duty. So if a planet is entrusted with some duties like providing food and shelter, it certainly will. Planets are very comfortable in their own house and will give you positive results if they want to. Planets in debilitated state are stuck beyond its imagination, so they can't give you good result even if they want to. Also, they are very sad and irritated when debilitated, and so you can imagine that they would lack the desire to give you anything positive. Planets get directional strength in some houses. You can go over this website to learn more. So you can look at, say, for example, Sun. So when Sun gets Digbali, the Digbali Sun will give you fame, respect, recognition, wealth, and honor from government. All planets have certain characteristics as shown here. For example, people governed by the moon, like moon as their Atmakarak or their Lagna Lord, they love traveling as the moon is the fastest moving planet. I have seen them having lunch and dinner while standing or walking. Nakshatras are the most important part of Vedic astrology. There are 27 nakshatras in total. Each nakshatra has 13 degrees and 20 minutes and is divided into 4 equal paras. The first nakshatra, Ashwini, starts and ends in Aries. So Aries contains 4 padas of Ashwini, 4 padas of Bharani, and only 1 pada of the Kritika nakshatra. The remaining 3 padas of Kritika spills over to the Taurus zodiac, and this cycle repeats in the sequence that is shown here. Each planet rules 3 nakshatra. For example, Ketu rules Ashwini, Magha, and Mula. Venus rules Bharani, Purva Falguna, and Purvashada. Sun rules Kritika, Uttar Falguni, and Uttarshada. The sequence from Ketu through Venus through Sun to Moon, Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury is very important because the Vimshottari Dasha runs in the same sequence and assumes the human life is span to be 120 years. I have picked up a sample chart where the moon nakshatra is Vishakha nakshatra, whose ruler is Jupiter. So this person was born in Jupiter Mahadasha, and the end date of the Mahadasha is as shown here. Then the Mahadasha of Shani started, which lasted for 19 years, and the start and the end dates are given here. Currently, this person is running the Venus Mahadasha. I use Jagannathora, a software written and offered for free by Mr. P.V.R. Narasimha Rao. He's a software engineer and an astrologer hailing from India and living near Boston, US. This software offers very high flexibility and offers many calculation options. It's very important that the charts that we base our prediction on are accurate. Some of the assumptions that I make are shown here. I use Drik Siddhanta as the Siddhanta system. The other option is to use Sri Surya Siddhanta, which I don't use. Another important option is the Ayanamsa. Ayanamsa is the difference between tropical and sidereal zodiac. The calculation of Ayanamsa is very important for determining planetary positions, divisional charts, dashas, transits, etc. Using different systems of Ayanamsa can result in major changes in dasha balance or high-level divisional charts like Sastriyamsa, the D60 chart. I use Pushyapaksh Ayanamsa for my analysis. There are some free online software like AstroSage. However, it offers a very limited list of Ayanamsa to choose from, and the one that I use is Pushyapaksh Ayanamsa that doesn't even feature here. The other two important assumptions are the exaltation and debilitation of the nodes, where I use the option Rahu is exalted in Taurus Gemini and Ketu in Scorpio Sagittarius, and for Charakaraka definition, I use mixed 7-8 Charakarakas of Parasara. Let's talk about the mixed 7 to 8 Charakaraka of Parasara. There are two schools of thoughts here. One considers 7 Charakarakas and the other considers 8 Charakarakas based on whether Rahu should be included or not. Ketu is always excluded. If we do use 7 Charakaraka, here is the scheme. So the planet having highest longitude, like here it's Saturn, is called Atmakarak. The next one is called Amatyakarak, and then Bhatrikarak, Matri, Pitri, Nati, and Dara, and so on. So Atmakarak is the most important planet because it signifies individuals' desire, nature, and overall life path. I have colored the Bhatrikarak, Natikarak, and the Darakarak in red because they represent bad houses. Nati Karaka represents Dushtana house and hence is considered the most dangerous planet. In the given sample chart, Saturn is the Atma Karak as it has the highest degree. Venus becomes Amatya Karak having the second highest degree. Remember, Mercury is the Nati Karaka. We will use this information later. Jagannath Hora allows us to place the Charakarakas in the D1 chart. As we see here, Atma Karak is in conjunct with Amatya Karak in house number 7. This gives us a Raj Yoga. It means that the person can fulfill the sole mission of a current lifetime in this life itself. Now let's see when to use the 8 Charakaraka. So we have the rules here which we can go through. So simply consider planets from Sun to Saturn and see if any of the degrees match. Here we see all the degrees distinct. Therefore, Rahu has been excluded. Let's look at Jagannath Hora and see if there are charts where this is not the case. So I'm going to bring up some sample chart here very quickly. Mrs. Indira Gandhi's chart, and we can see that Saturn and Venus have exact same degree and therefore the Rahu has to be considered. Similarly, I'll open one more. Marilyn Monroe's chart where I see Saturn at 29, I also see Mars at 29 and therefore Rahu has to be considered. Now the sample chart is for a fictitious name, Soma. Here we see none of the degrees match and therefore Rahu has not been considered. The lords of 3rd and 8th houses are called planets of longevity. In the sample chart, these are Mercury and Saturn. Lords of 2nd and 7th houses are known as Markesh. So the planets that are placed with these Markesh are also called Maraka planets. In this chart, Sun and Saturn are the Markeshes. But since Saturn is also the planet of longevity, I have marked it neutral. Sun is placed with Mercury and Ketu. So I have marked Mercury as neutral and Ketu as Maraka. Saturn is placed with Mars and Venus and both are marked as neutral. So finally, it is the Sun and Ketu that are the Maraka planets in this chart. For a movable ascendant, the Lord of the 11th house is the Badaka planet. The sample chart has 4 as the ascendant and therefore it is a movable ascendant. So the Badaka planet is Venus in this chart. Let us analyze the role of Venus in this chart. Venus is a Lord of 2 good houses, House of Comforts and House of Gains. Sitting in the 7th house, Venus is expected to give good results. As the Badakesh, Venus will create hurdle for the 7th house, the house where it is placed, as well as the 1st house, the house that it aspects. The person indeed faced lots of hurdle to get married. The person's marital life faced lots of ups and downs, however, marriage is still intact. The person faces minor health issues still. The person had to undergo a surgical procedure to save his life. The dasha running at the time of surgery was that of Venus Mahadasha, Mars Antardasha, Venus Pratyantardasha and Mercury Sukshma Dasha. Venus is Badaka, who gave the trouble, And Mars is the Ati Yoga Karaka who saved the life through surgery. Mars, anyway, indicates blood, surgery, etc. Mercury is the lord of 12th house and represents hospitalization. Remember from the previous slide that Mercury is Nati Karaka, planet of hurdles and obstacles. So when all these planets came together as Dasha Lord, the surgery happened. At the time of surgery, the position of planets at transit are as shown here. We see that the Venus and Mercury are sitting in the third and fourth houses respectively while exchanging their zodiacs. This is very positive and strong. Mars, the lifesaver, is sitting in the ninth house, the house of luck. The surgery was indeed successful. It had to be. Also, look at the Shadbal strength of the planets in the D1 chart. All the three planets, Venus, Mars, and Mercury, have a strength over 100%. So they are powerful enough to execute their wishes. Planets belong to certain camps like Devas and Asuras. They have Nasargic friendship with some, neutral relationship with some, and Nasargic enmity with some planets. Planets are also combust at certain degrees during direct and retrograde motion. For example, Sun has Nasargic friendship with Moon, Mars, and Jupiter, neutral with Mercury, and Nasargic enmity with Venus and Saturn. For example, Mercury is combust at 14 degree when direct and at 12 degree when retrograde. Planets have temporary friendship and enmity also, as indicated here. So let's understand how Jagannath Hora determines the Adhimitra, the Mitra status, etc. So Jagannath Hora indicates that Sun is placed in Adhimitra's house. Let's see how. So Sun is placed in zodiac number 9, which is a zodiac of Jupiter. Sun and Jupiter have Nasargic friendship. Jupiter is placed in house 4 from Sun, 1, 2, 3, 4, and therefore they also have temporary friendship. So Nasargic friendship and temporary friendship together have given Sun the Adhimitra's Griha status. That's all in this episode, friends. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and share your feedback. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.